From time to time, I get comments and requests to do videos along the lines of, what if a winner of a season had not competed on that said season? Or, to be more specific, what if Nina Flowers had won season 1? How would that affect All-Stars 1 with BB there and All-Stars 3 with Nina there? And while, for one, I rarely take suggestions from the comments because I only take those in my DMs where we can actually talk about them, I also don't want to do those kinds of videos because they are too what-ify. Most of his decisions wouldn't be based in reality. However, those sorts of ideas gave me an idea that I was excited to explore, and that's how All-Stars winners could have won their original seasons. Now, for some of the winners, their wins in their original seasons, I believe, would only happen if the story told throughout the season had been different, or if the public reception had been different. However, for some, the two weakest winners of All-Stars, but also the entire main franchise, there will be a lot of reaching, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Of course, we're doing this in chronological order, starting with Chad and ending with Shea. Spoilers for all of the All-Stars winners, and also seasons 4, 5, 7, 9, and 10, but also some other seasons as well. I don't know why you would be watching this video if you hadn't seen the said seasons, but yeah, whatever. We're starting with Chad Michaels. On her season, she had the second best track record out of the top 3, being only behind Sharon and, well, Willem, but Willem had the luxury of being disqualified in the episode where she won the Maxi Challenge, and she wasn't in the top 3, so her PP score, or points per episode score, was not damaged by the elimination. So, how could have Chad won this season? I see a couple of ways this could have happened. The first one is obvious. Chad wins a challenge or two over Sharon. Fifi is not favored a bit because she's the villain of the season. Yes, villains can also be favored. They are integral parts of any story, and having them be well received can piss off the rest of the contestants, amongst other things. However, these sort of cop-out answers of, well, she could have just won more challenges, I won't mention unless necessary with Monet and Trixie. So, let's say season 4 happened the way it did originally. How could Chad still win over Sharon? The first instance would be in a scenario where Sharon is not that well liked by the audience. Let's say that instead of being tired of the model sort of winners of the first 3 seasons, they actually embraced those kinds of queens. Instead of wanting something new, they stayed with the old. In that case, Chad gets crowned as being somewhat the closest to that mold of a queen that's very polished, very conventional, and very, excuse the heteronormative binary term, but feminine. The second way Chad could have won has more to do with Fifi and Sharon. Due to their feud on season 4 and seeing the audience's reaction to it, the producers wanted to profit more off of it, and cast the two of them on All-Stars 1. So, as a result, Chad would be the winner of season 4. In this scenario, Chad's win is kind of like given to her, but not because of her. And the last way I think Chad could have won season 4 is if Nina Flowers had won season 1. Hear me out. If you had seen my mistreatment of Nina Flowers video, you probably remember that not only did Nina's critiques almost exclusively revolve around her tattoos and that being too masculine, mind you, these just came from RuPaul up until the point when Ru saw herself in BB and started pushing her towards the crown, so the other judges also had to comment on Nina's tattoos. Again, everything was explained in that video. Go watch it if you have not. Do not comment about it if you have not. I will know. But anyways, let's say that Ru had not been scared to crown a non-carbon copy of herself. Again, not my words, watch the video, but had actually crowned Nina, the best contestant of the season with the most alternative style of the season. That also, by the penultimate episode, was the fan favorite. Even though the show lied about it and said that BB was the fan favorite, that was not the case. Nina was a fan favorite so much so that she was later even voted the Miss Congeniality. Like, Nina Flowers was the first Miss Fan Favorite alongside being Miss Congeniality. But I digress. So, in this scenario, we still have Tyra as the winner of season 2. Raj's edit on season 3 will be even more complimentary of some of her more out-of-the-box looks. And then we get to season 4. What happens here? The audience, like how it originally happened, got somewhat bored of the predominant similarity in the first 3 winners and rooted for someone different. So there was already an alternative queen winner. After her, there was a model queen who was also very disliked by the rest of the queens, and then a winner that was a bit of both. The only alternative to these three out of the season 4's top 3 would have been Chad Michaels. Now, Alaska. Here's the thing. One of the ways Alaska could have won is like a retribution story for Sharon's loss in season 4. You know how like 90% of Alaska's screen time on season 5 dealt with the fact that Sharon won and that Alaska was basically in her shadow and is definitely not going to win. Yeah, so let's say that Chad did win season 4 and Alaska went into season 5 with a storyline of avenging the loss of her then partner that happened to have had the best track record of the top 3. Now, let's say that Alaska does not have that sort of an advantage going to season 5. Let's say the season had gone the way it did, but this time there is a difference in the last competitive episode. With Detox and Jinx in the bottom 2, we know, because I think both Willem and Detox share this story, the lip sync song was changed last minute from an En Vogue song to that song that they lip sync to. Obviously because in the former case the producers thought or knew Detox would have done better than Jinx, and that did not really work with their underdog narrative they had for her. So let's say that this does not happen and that we have a top 3 of Alaska talks. Out of the 3 of them, Alaska has the best track record, and as kind of the unofficial leader of the group, she gets the crown in the finale. Now, it's also possible to have Alaska win without either of the last 2 scenarios present, by her never being part of Alaska talks. The story goes as follows. The only way, while filming Drag Race, that you can be outside is if you go on smoke breaks. As Alaska felt like she needed those breaks, she took up smoking again, and her, Detox, and Roxy were the smokers of the season, which is how they got together. Let's say Alaska did not need that. Let's say she was stable enough, I guess, to not need to go outside. By the way, I really don't want to make this about someone's mental health, but I just had to include it. And so she bonded more with the other girls, like Jinx and Ivy, for example, so that the story of the season becomes Jinx and Alaska versus Detox and Roxy. Alaska has the weight of Sharon's win alongside Detox and Roxy possibly being somewhat maybe mean to her, alongside, you know, literally anyone but Honey Mahogany, Ivy Winters, and Jinx Monsoon being absolute monsters the entire season. Were those queens okay? But I digress. This way, the season would really be about Alaska overcoming all of that and winning. Sadly, with not the best track record, but hey, the winner of the first season was not the best, so hey ho, let's go to the next queen. Okay, so Trixie. One way that she could have won I explored in my previous video, which I linked in the upper right hand corner of your screen. That's kind of the only way I could see her winning the season. I mean, okay, there's also the possibility of, let's say, her coming back, winning every single challenge until the end, maybe mini challenges included, and then winning as like a surprise and the best comeback story on Drag Race. But I don't know. There could be a possible thing to explore with her winning the season by not getting eliminated in episode 4, after which instance she'd be an even stronger competitor for Pearl, like how Pearl said that she wanted to do well in the competition for Trixie. Again, I don't know. It seems quite implausible, and not because, oh my god, you hate Trixie, but because Trixie on her 2 seasons run on Drag Race never won a single episode. No, being in the top 2 does not equal winning an episode, so you can see why I'm struggling here. If you have any ideas that are at least somewhat realistic, please do share them in the comments. All Stars 4 had 2 winners, so we'll first do Trinity and then Monet. Trinity, as she did make it into the finale of her season, is an easier case. So, Trinity had really the best storyline of season 9. She came in and we all thought, yet another pageant girl that's just about looking as feminine as possible. She's an early out or a possible finalist that nobody will care for. And then Trinity said nope and became one of the most entertaining parts of season 9. In the finale, prior to the lip-syncing for the crown's results, Trinity's track record placed her in the 3rd place, so she would have had to overcome Sasha and Shea to get to the crown in a regular finale format. However, since we do have the twist of lip-syncing for the crown, due to lip-syncs in season 9 being an almost completely negligible aspect of the season, Trinity has a fighting chance still. We know that both her and Peppermint wanted to put Sasha and Shea against each other in the semifinals, so that one is taken out. However, let's say that Sasha or Shea get to pick their opponents. Let's say that, for example, Shea gets to pick, as by that point her track record was the best. By the way, this is how I think the picking should go. The strongest competitor gets to set the stage so as to have the most chance at winning, as they were the best competitor of the season. Shea does not want to go up against Sasha, and between Peppermint and Trinity, Peppermint proved to be a stronger lip syncer, and a more memorable one at that, so Shea picks to go up against Trinity. The two of them lip sync to So Emotional, and as Shea had nothing during that lip sync to wow us with, Trinity gets the win and qualifies for the finale. And then let's say that in the second lip sync, Peppermint goes up against Sasha to Britney Stronger. Now, the look Peppermint wore for her semifinal lip sync was intended to be for Stronger, as there's that whole like gladiator motif, so it works. Sasha's plan for this, however, was to mid-song start cutting up her wig with scissors, and I know that she had a different idea behind it, like a more empowering message, but going bald or cutting your hair in relation to Britney Spears is never cute. It was never cute, it is never going to be cute. Please stop immediately. So I feel like in this scenario Peppermint takes out Sasha, making the last lip sync between Trinity and Peppermint. As the final lip sync, please listen to how many times I say final, meaning the actual final lip sync of a season never matters. And at least in the main Drag Race franchise always was just there to delay the inevitable win of the statistically strongest competitor, Trinity could get the crown. Monet is a much harder case to figure out. She lip-synced 3 times, she did not win a single maxi challenge, and she was very inconsistent in her performance, whether we're talking challenges or runways. However, I do see a possible path that involves many differences in Season 10. It's inevitable that she'd be the first winner of the main franchise to lip-sync more than once. First things first, there is no favoritism of Eureka. And by the way, I'm never going to make that video because, well, we all know that the favoritism existed. It's very obvious. But also, it just feels like unnecessary, and unlike many people on the internet, if I don't like something, I just don't talk about it. I know, a mind-blowing concept. Let's go over the key moments of Monet's run in the season chronologically. First, let's say that she's just low in the ball, and that it's Asia lip-syncing against Dusty in the bottom 2. And yeah, even though Monet did have a much worse performance on the runway than Asia, let's say that Asia was put into the bottom 2 as to like show her that she's in a competition and that she should worry about herself only. Monet does lip-sync against Mayhem in the next episode though. What happens in the workroom and Untucked is more important though. So Aquaria tries to come for the Vixen, but the Vixen never has a talk with Aquaria in the Untucked that humbles Aquaria and makes her more likable afterwards. So in this scenario, Aquaria stays being the stuck-up, quite annoying social media queen from the first couple of episodes of Season 10 for the entirety of the season, worsening her performance somewhat. Then, in the panels episode, Monet gets the win over Eureka, as that frequent story on Drag Race where a queen is in the bottom 2 in one episode, but then wins in the next episode. For the next 3 episodes, she's high, maybe even picking up the win in the first top 6 episode over Asia. Important for that episode is that there is no double shantay, because there should not have been one originally, as Eureka spent most of that lip sync doing splits or hiding her face from the judges, but I guess we're all ignoring that. Thus, the double shantay is saved for the makeover episode for Cameron and Monet. Then Monet makes it into the finale after placing safe, probably in the Evil Twin Challenge thing, whatever. That's literally the most offensive challenge that Drag Race had ever done. Let's not even, oh my god. In the pre-finale episode, she does really well. Now, in the finale, she's with Aquaria, Asia, and Cameron. Let's say that Asia and Monet lip-sync first, so that Monet makes it into the final lip-sync because Asia decided to play Jason Voorhees with some butterflies. In the second lip-sync, as some people have said, Aquaria messed up somewhat, but because unlike in our reality, in this reality she's not likable, the production does not feel the need to edit her better. And so, as a result, Cameron moves on into the finale with Monet, where Monet, I think, has a better track record and wins Season 10. And lastly, the most recent winner of All Stars, Shea Couleé. The obvious way that she could have won Season 9 is if the finale format had not been changed. Quite simple, quite obvious. But let's try to figure out how Shea could have won with the set format. Firstly, imagining that she's lip-syncing against Sasha, she could have advanced to the finale if their lip-sync song had been stronger, for the aforementioned reasons of shaving your head or cutting your hair and relating it to Britney, even though Drag Race loves to make fun of Britney, but let's pretend that they have an ounce of decency not to allow Sasha to advance with that gimmick, even though, yes, I know that wasn't her original intent. Stop commenting that. In the final lip sync, as her track record is better than both Trinity's and Peppermint's, she wins the season. And that's it. That's the video. Boy, am I going to need to do an hour of yoga before recording this, in order to properly do all the reaching here without pulling something. But regardless of that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.